Sorry. All right. All right, folks. Welcome into a brand new edition of the Babin on the Bayou show. I am your host, as always, Justin Babin Jr. I am excited to bring you the Thursday edition of the Babin on the Bayou show. For a lot of you, if you don't know me, again, I'm Justin Babin Jr. If this is your first time listening to the show, super excited. The first ever live edition of the Babin on the Bayou show. This is going to be a very exciting one. We are live on YouTube and Facebook, not on X. Unfortunately, that is super unfortunate, but excited to have our first ever live guest on the Babin on the Bayou show, my buddy Paul Jarrett, on the show to talk about LSU baseball, give some of our takes and our feedback on the first 2 weeks of LSU baseball in 2026. How are you doing, Paul?
I am on cloud nine right now. I am in a great mood. Thank you for asking, buddy.
All right, brother. Well, a lot of you, if you haven't tuned into the show before, again, thank you so much for tuning into the show. We have a show every weekday that comes out on this YouTube channel at 5 p.m. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you folks for tuning in. But if you have seen the show before, a lot of you have already heard some of my takes, some of my thoughts on the season through the first 2 weeks. So I wanted to open up the floor to you, Paul, at the beginning of the show. We'll get into kind of the starting pitching rotation, the bullpen, and the lineup as well as we get into the show. But I want to give you allow you to give a chance to give some of your overarching takes on what you've thought through the first 2 weeks of LSU baseball play in 2026. What are your takes? What do you think?
So doing the preview before the year, there were some things I saw Jay doing differently. And I'm happy to see that I was wrong. I'm happy to see that what Jay has decided to do has worked. Coming in, let's just do what baseball players should do and just wash Tuesday. It didn't happen, okay? McNeese never came to the ballpark. All right? That one is up there for no reason. Before the season, I'll tell you what I had wrong. I had Braden Simpson at first and York DHing more often than not, aside from when Aaron Beatty was not catching and then he DH'd and York played first. York is your everyday first baseman. I was wrong about that, and he is phenomenal. I did say Dardar would play second, and I'm happy I was right about that because Dardar has been phenomenal. Things that those are right. William Schmidt. Credit to William Schmidt, man. That kid has come out. His first outing was not bad. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't to the level you would want we'd never had a true Sunday guy. So when you finally think you have one, it wasn't to the same level you wish a Sunday guy would be. But then he comes out and plays UCF, who's a perennial regional team, and he dominates. So big ups to William Schmidt. Cooper Moore came out of the clouds and did something I didn't see possible, leading the starting rotation in every feasible category. He is your Saturday guy. And I like what I've seen in Case and Evans. As far as the bats, Zach York has proven me right. I said he was going to hit 20. He's going to hit 20. Book it. Pay your taxes. Notarize it. It's done. Dardar's come out swinging a hot bat. Beatty's come out swinging a hot bat. Really the only thing with your batting lineup I see that's any different is I warned everybody Mom will start off slow because he always does. Curiel has been surprising. Starting off as slow as he has, and Jake Brown's on fire. But as all in all, there's some guys that I'm disappointed in, some guys I'm surprised about. All in all, we're 9 games into a baseball season when there's 56. You as well know as I do, baseball is a evolving team sport as a year goes on, and I don't think we've had. I mean, didn't Beloso lead off the final game of the 23 season? So
Yeah,
I think you know something you don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have said specifically we can get into a conversation about the lineup. Obviously, through the first 8 games of the season, I mean, you led the SEC as a team in batting average, 367 through the series in Jacksonville over this past weekend. So it's obviously been a a great start to the season. I think Tuesday obviously wasn't great, but I think obviously you played 8 games in 10 days, right? Like you played 8
And they
games in
didn't
10
quit.
days, and no, they didn't quit, right? Like last year, like the reason I didn't think it was a big deal is because last year you got run ruled 13-3 by Northwestern, and you ended up going on to win the national championship. I mean, you lost to Omaha in the early season, and also it's like it's your first year under Jay Johnson that you started 8-0. You haven't done that under Coach Johnson before. So that's the thing for me. I think some of the guys that stand out, obviously Jake Brown has been raking at the plate, leading as far as batting average, 17 RBIs, 4 home runs. When you look at the numbers, what Jake Brown has been able to do. I've said on the show this week, there's so many guys that you could mention that you could throw out there. Jake Brown is one of them. I think Darren Beatty is one of them. I think going into the season, Paul, preseason, there was nobody that Jay Johnson talked more glowingly about to the media than Darren Beatty. Like he was like, this guy was our MVP, our best player in the fall. He's a guy who could wind up being the best player on the team at some point in the season. Like, and he was talking about how from freshman to sophomore year, who's the guy who took the biggest jump? Darren Beatty. That's what Jay Johnson said. And you've seen that through 2 weeks, right? And then my other guy who you talked about, and there are many other guys we could talk about with like York and Reeves or York and Caraway and stuff like that, right? But the other guy, and you've talked about him on your shows as well, is Seth Dardar. Seth Dardar has been phenomenal.
So I've said it. Awesome. I'm getting 24 Ted on my back. It's done. I'm getting 24 Ted on my back.
Yeah, I mean, Dardar has just been awesome, dude. Like watching him, and he's a Louisiana guy. He dreamed about playing at LSU since he was a kid, really. And now you look at it, and I love what the Go team said the other day. They said the other day on one of my posts about Dardar, they were like, it's like if me and you stepped up to the plate and played for the Tigers, the team he always wanted to play for, and went up there, and in his first at bat, he hit a home run and a pinch hit appearance and crushed it against Milwaukee. So I think as an offense, you have that. And then the number one thing, one of the things that stands out to me, Paul, as well, is not just the fact that we know this team can rake, but I've been saying on the show this week, plate discipline, plate vision, and composure. That's what I've seen out of this team through 9 games. This team through 9 games has drawn 64 walks on the season, which is top 3 in the SEC for any team. They do not chase. They do not chase after balls. And when you do that, this team can rake. Like, they can do it, and they're going to rake against all of these preseason non-conference teams. That's obvious, right? But my point is that I think the plate discipline, composure and pitch selection from this offense has been elite to start the season.
I've caught some flack saying this, and I don't mind it. I don't care. Because we hold the 23 team in such high regard for a reason. They were phenomenal. Quite possibly, Doug Thompson said this in the podcast I mentioned earlier on my stream, that he thought his 96 team or 98 team was the best LSU college baseball team ever, and he said they couldn't beat 23. But when you talk about composure and plate discipline, I think it speaks to a lot more than just intangibles on the field. It speaks to the level of the player you have and the person you have. This is the most composed team Jay has ever had. This is the first truly Jay Johnson squad he's put together, be it from the coaching staff and players on the field. Because even in last year, you had some leftovers from Maneri to a point. This is fully, which I'm not putting down Maneri. He's about to get fired, but I'm not putting down on Maneri. This is his team. And you see it in the way the guys act. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Jared Jones standing in front of the plate, yelling at the Tennessee pitcher, FUP. I love it. It fires me up. You're not going to have that this year. Because I'll give you a little inside baseball. So I heard this from a little birdie about Sunday. Supposedly Friday after the game, because they were sharing locker rooms at that tournament, UCF came in while LSU was still playing, and then some personal belongings from the LSU players went missing. Now, they kept it hush hush. There may have been a couple players saying beam the first one. That's why I said should have hit him. But this shows you. So the 25 team, Paul wouldn't have done it. But you know I'm talking, like, they would have beamed him. It would have been a thing. They would have gotten in that shouting match with Kentucky and Tennessee. This team's not going to do that. They're going to go out there. They're going to perform professionally. They're going to act like professionals. And that's what makes me so excited, because even Lynn talked about on the broadcast Tuesday, Curiel moved out of the way of a pitch, which usually Jay would say, let it hit you. Now he doesn't have to. He trusts those guys to have good plate discipline. Look at a guy like Dardar. He was walked, I think, 6 straight times. You know he was mad about it, but he's composed, because he would show it. Every time he went down to first baseline, he was mad. He showed it, which is fine, but he did the right thing. He's putting the team before himself, and that's what's great about this team.
Yeah. I think back to Seth Dardar, one other point that I really wanted to make before we get into the starting rotation, because we're gonna talk about the starting rotation, the bullpen, and then I'll get an opinion on something from you at the end of the show. Go about 45 minutes, folks. But every year I get a guy, and I think many fans do. I get a guy that I just attach to, like a player that I just attached to. I'll give you a perfect example from this. 2023, my guy, he was not the best player on the team. He did not have the skill level of a Tommy White, of a Dylan Cruz, of a Paul Skeens. My guy was Gavin Dugas. That was my guy.
Yeah.
That was my top
My guy
dude.
was Braden Jobert.
That was my favorite dude. Every time Dugas came to the plate, I was like, let's freaking go. I love Gavin Dugas. Josh Pearson was that way for me the past couple of years, honestly. I loved the thing I had to describe Josh Pearson was just the clutchest player on the team. Like the clutch, like that gene he had it in spades. We've seen that from Steve
brother has it
over the past couple of years.
John has it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the guy for me at the beginning of the season, this could change, but the guy at the beginning of the season for me is Seth Dardar. And I think that's it for a lot of people. And I know that's it for you to begin this season.
100%. And like I've said it till I'm blue in the face, I'm gonna keep saying it. The ball he hit, how many were you able to make a lot of scrimmages this year?
I made a couple. I wasn't able to make a ton. I'll be honest about that.
Okay.
But I did make a couple.
With that. I live close enough to where it's very convenient for me. And I have a very loving wife who's very understanding. The ball he hit and off, I forgot who he hit off of, but in the spring scrimmages, so the second half scrimmages after the Christmas break, that hit the foul pole in a rainy, drizzly, overcast day was the hardest ball I've ever seen hit in Alex Box Stadium. And then I looked him up. I was like, who is this? Because I remembered him from Kansas State. I remembered him having 1 yard off a Cade. And I thought, well, yeah, we should see some power. Then I learned a little bit about him. And I saw him play the field. And the plays he's making in the field right now, I'm not surprised about. He made them in the scrimmages. And I fell in love with the kid. Now, I love Big Papa, because who doesn't love Big Papa? I always think about that scene in Moneyball where the guy hits the home run, but he falls tripping over first base, doesn't realize he hit a home run. But Dardar is a special kid because a lot of people, I've said this earlier, I said it, he graduated Columbia 2 years. He already has job offers, making 6 figures. He's here because he loves baseball and he loves LSU. And the kid he has a special halo over his head right now. Like, he has something about him this year that's going to be undeniable. And I'm happy people are starting to see it.
Yeah. Let's move on from the lineup to the pitching staff, and we'll specifically start with the starting rotation, and we'll get into the bullpen later. Again, we're going to go about 45 minutes here, folks. We want to be respectful of Paul's time for sure. But
You're good.
For starting rotation wise, there's been 3 guys: Cason Evans, Cooper Moore, and William Schmidt. I think, Paul, the number one thing I'm seeing in the first few weeks on social media is there's a lot of people questioning Case and Evans. There's a lot of
They're
people
stupid.
questioning Case and Evans to the first 2 weeks. Here's my argument. I made it the other day. I was going to post something about it tomorrow morning I made a clip of it on my show the other day. Jay Johnson is the best college baseball coach in America. He's the best
He's the
college
best
baseball
baseball coach in
in
the
America.
country. He's the best baseball coach in the country. Period. I don't care what level you're talking about. I had to correct you there. I firmly believe that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's a genius when it comes to the sport of baseball. But what I'm saying is he believes in Case and Evans. He believes in Case and Evans as a Friday night guy. And Case and Evans was a stud as a freshman in 2025. I mean, look at the tape against Little Rock. Like, that's all I want to point out. Look at the tape against Little Rock, and you tell me that that guy is not good enough, or that guy is not good enough to be the ace. I understand maybe the start against Milwaukee wasn't, I mean, he struck out 7 batters in the first 3 innings. He got touched up a little bit in the 4th, but he was better against IU. Against IU, he retired the side in order in 4 of the 5 innings he pitched in. I mean, you're talking about
He had
a
a
guy
46 pitch inning. He had a 46 pitch inning against IU. But then what does he do? 2 straight innings of 8 pitches. What else do you want from the guy?
Exactly. I mean, look, that's my thing. That's my thing as well. And also, not just Jay Johnson, I can make an argument that I think Nate Yeskie is the best pitching coach in the country. In the first 2 years Nate Yeskie has been here, you've finished 2024 and 2025 leading the nation in strikeouts as a team. And yeah, I mean, they want Case and Evans to be the guy, and I think Case and Evans should be the guy. You saw improvement from Milwaukee to Indiana, and I think you'll see improvement from Indiana to Dartmouth tomorrow. I wouldn't be shocked if he goes out there and has a great game tomorrow. So people need to calm down. Like, people honestly just need to calm down, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's my take on it.
Look. Why does Jay Johnson believe so much in Case and Evans? I'll tell you why. Jay Johnson was going to his best friend's wedding. Case and Evans, he had to go visit. He chose Case and Evans over his best friend's wedding. That's how much he trusts this guy. Case and Evans. So I'll be honest, my rotation to start the year is nothing near what it is right now. I thought Case would be Friday. I thought Maverick Rizzi would be your Saturday, and I thought Zach Cowan would be your Sunday. Boy, was I wrong, and I'm happy I'm not making that decision because Jay's right and Yeskie's right. Kaysen has been phenomenal. Has he been touched up? Yeah. Jay and Paul and not Paul, Nate have been very open and honest about Kaysen kind of losing his mechanics at times. And if you've noticed, every pitcher on the staff has had a bad inning. Cooper Moore had a bad inning. William Schmidt had a bad inning in his first outing. He was phenomenal on Sunday. Give Kaysen Evans time. I'm telling you, this rotation, the only other person that I can see breaking the rotation is Gavin Guidry if William Schmidt falls apart. I don't think William Schmidt falls apart. Not saying he does that. This is your rotation set for the rest of the year. And Tiger fans, be happy. We have a rotation. We're not Johnny Holstaff.
Yeah. And that's I think my other point I wanted to make. I mean, to me, it was between entering the season Evans, Moore, Schmidt, and Cooper Williams. That was what it was between for your 3 starting spots between those guys. I think the best starting pitcher through 2 weeks has been Cooper Moore. Like, he's been the top guy. I think it's interesting, Paul. I think the point that I made the other day is that you have a track record with Jay Johnson and Nate Yeskie for a couple of years now, just bringing in a starting pitcher out of the portal and hitting. Like, you have a track record of that just happening. And, like, I would never compare Cooper Moore to Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens is the best pitcher I've ever seen don the purple and gold. He's NL Cy Young Award winner last year. But you bring Paul Skeens in out of the portal, he does what he does in 23. Gage Jump and Luke Coleman, you bring them, and they were really good in 2024. You brought Ianson out of the portal in 2025. You have a track record of 3 previous years bringing in at least one starting pitcher, and that guy being a dude. Maybe not to the same level because, of course, Skeens was a dude more than any of the others, of course. But all 4 of those guys over the last 3 years came in and worked and were great for LSU. And now Cooper Moore is that guy this year. He's that guy that you brought in, that starter that you brought in. You brought him in, and through 2 games, what we've seen is we've seen elite command. We've seen 80% strike rate against Milwaukee, 79% strike rate against Notre Dame, excuse me. And just, yeah, I mean, I think there is a track record of LSU bringing a starting pitcher out of the transfer portal every year under Jay Johnson and hitting.
And to piggyback off of that track record, they're also developing guys. At 23, you didn't really develop anybody truly. At 24, you started developing Cade Anderson. 25, Cade Anderson was developed. Now look at Kason Evans, Gavin Guidry, William Schmidt. Not only are you going into the portal and getting talent, discovering talent and bringing it, because let everybody know, out of anybody who watches college baseball, who knew Paul Skeens was going to throw 102? Who knew Paul Skeens would turn into the Babe Ruth of modern time? If you say you did, you're lying. They saw it, and they brought him in. Well, Jay saw it. They wasn't here yet. But I love that they're developing it as well. That's what makes them great coaches. They don't – I mean, you look like in football, are you going to be able to develop a quarterback over time? No, so go get Sam Levitt. No. Jay is like, okay, I'm going to go get Cooper Moore. But if he doesn't come, I got Kason Evans, I got William Schmidt, and we're developing other guys. Reagan Ricken, freshman, first outing, looked outstanding. The pitching staff's in good hands for a long time here in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, absolutely. And then William Schmidt, I've called him this year the wild card of this team. The wild card of this team, because he has the best pure stuff of any pitcher on the staff. And I was excited after watching that UCF game Sunday, Paul. Like watching that game, I was like giddy watching that game because I was like, give me that. Give me that. Please give me that. Because that dude, the biggest thing was he was locating the breaking ball. That was the biggest thing. He was locating the breaking ball, and he looked awesome Sunday against UCF. And you give me that William Schmidt every weekend, man, watch out. Because that Sunday position for the last couple of years has been shaky.
Johnny Holstaff.
Like it's been shaky. Johnny Holstaff. Last year you saw Chase Shore, Zach Cowan, Kason Evans, Jaden Newt. You know, all of those guys got Sunday starts because you couldn't find anybody, right? But this year, you got Schmitty as your Sunday starter. Now, again, that was one game. And the issue for Schmidt has been, I mean, last year he walked 11 batters in 2 innings of SEC regular season play. Like, that was the issue last year, you know? And, like, it's one game. But I'm saying, man, I was happy as could be with that start from Schmitty on Sunday against UCF.
Now with Schmidt, to me he stays a wild card. That's why I said earlier, if anybody breaks rotation, it's because Schmidt kind of falls apart. Here's the truth behind William Schmidt. He throws a heavy fastball. What do I mean by heavy fastball? Ty Floyd didn't throw a heavy fastball. I'm using Ty Floyd because he's a drastic difference. Ty Floyd had a high spin rate that kind of rose. It looked like it rose at the end, had a lot of tail to it. William Schmidt has a lower spin rate, very flat fastball. When his breaking stuff is working, that's when that because he can turn that fastball up to 98. But that breaking stuff really lets that fastball eat and plays well. When he doesn't have the breaking stuff, that leaves that fastball up to being hurt. So as long as he can locate his breaking stuff and play off of that, that heavy fastball will work. And I have a lot. I mean, Case Evans broke out a curveball in Omaha. I'm pretty sure yes, he's going to work with Schmitty and get a little tail to it. But as we've seen through 2 games, he's amazing. I remember being in our box for a Thatcher Hurd start in 24. Jay Johnson didn't want to watch it. He got thrown out of the Florida game. He wanted to leave too. So everybody just rejoiced in the fact that we have 3 starters. And we're not Johnny Billstaff.
Yeah. All right, Paul, let's move to the bullpen now. And I'll throw out my top 2 guys, and I don't think it's indisputable with who the top 2 guys have been through 2 weeks, and that's Gavin Guidry and Devin Sheeran. Those have been your top 2 guys out of the bullpen. Gavin Guidry, 2023, big part of the team. Your closer in 24, back under your cost in 25, and he just comes out in 26 and looks dominant once again with that freaking hammer that he throws. Like that curveball is filthy. The hammer. And then the other guy, and we'll get into more, and I'll let you elaborate on them too and some more as well on who stood out to you out of this bullpen. But the other guy to me is Devin Sheeran. The other guy to me is Devin Sheeran because of he comes in and he just throws. It's high heat. It's 97, 98, and it's like a ton of passion, a ton of passion, a ton of energy, a ton of fire. It's what I love to see out of a player, and you see it out of Devin Sheeran. And those are my top 2 guys out of the bullpen. There are other guys that have been really good, but I want to give you the floor. Give me some of your takeaways about the LSU bullpen through 2 weeks.
Of course, Gavin Guidry. Of course. I mean, were you there for opening day by any chance?
I was not.
Okay, buddy. I wish you would have been. So I got very lucky. I went to the Fan Fest that day. I brought my oldest son, and I was there. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to the game today. My wife was all good with it, so I went and bought a ticket. Now I messed up and I bought a ticket in a handicap spot on the grandstand. By the way, if you get a chance, best seat in the house. You get all the leg room in the world. But I'm sitting, so I'm basically looking down the right field line on the left side of the grandstand, right? I'm on the third base side, but I'm looking down the right field line. And I remember when they brought in Guidry. Now, from where I'm sitting, I can't tell who that is coming out of the bullpen, but I hear the diamond deck erupt. And it was the craziest thing in the world. I've never heard Alec Box like this. It was like a wave of just eruption around the box until it hit me, and it was just place lit up. It reminded me of the old box. It got that crazy. Guidry has been phenomenal. He is I need to turn this water off. I need to shut down this inning. Give me 8. I love him for it. I think he could do a lot more. But aside from Guidry, because I'm kind of putting Guidry off to the side. He's a different animal. My other 2 bullpen guys would be Cooper Williams. I know he was shaky Sunday. Well, no, he's shaky Friday. Everything's turning into a blur right now. And I would honestly go Dax Dath or Dothy. I love Dax Dothy. And him and Sheeran are like right there next to each other. I love Sheeran's passion, but to me, I think Dothy has that pitchability that Jay talks about. And I see that, and that's what gets me really, really excited. I love Devin Sheeran because he reminds me of Reiselman from 22. That guy came in just 100, just sling it. So it would be Cooper Williams because, I mean, Cooper had a legit chance to take Schmidt's Sunday role. And he showed that, especially in the first outing, coming in for Case Evans on opening day. And Dax Dothy has been consistent. They've all have rut spots at the beginning of the year. But I see Dax having a big, big role for this team this year.
Yeah. I mean, there are other guys that you've seen. I like what you see out of the freshman Reagan Ricken, who has looked really good in 2
Marcos
midweek
Paz.
appearances. Marcos Paz. Now, Marcos looked good in the
He
first
did.
inning against McNeese. Now, he lost his command on
He did.
Tuesday in the second inning. He lost his command. But obviously, Paz is a guy that if he wasn't 18 months post Tommy John surgery, he probably wouldn't be playing college baseball right now. So, like,
No.
you see the potential in Paz. Dathe, I'm still figuring it out, but Dax has been really good. Dax has been really good. A
Santiago
guy
Garcia.
Garcia, there's Plog. You have the guy I thought coming into the season that I was looking for, and you've seen some good from him. The guy I was looking at to potentially step up and be that dude this year was Maverick Rizzi. That was my guy coming into the year because
Adam as a Saturday or starter.
yeah, I thought he was going to come in and just kind of step up and be that bullpen role, potentially be your closer. Maybe it hasn't worked out that way in the first 9 games. I don't think Rizzi has been bad, but he's the guy that I was talking about in preseason to people about like the guy I thought would step up. But I think as a staff, when you look at it through 8 games before the McNeese game, yes, they had their ERA was like in the conference wasn't good where they stood in ERA. But I mean, you had like I think they're still top in the SEC in strikeouts, or they were going into the McNeese game with 104 strikeouts.
I think they were, but I haven't looked at the stats to be honest with you. I'll probably look at them tomorrow.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like what you've seen really good stuff out of this pitching staff and out of some guys. And the McNeese game, look, you shouldn't expect to win a game in which you will issue 11 free passes. You shouldn't expect to win that game.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
I had this discussion last night with AP, and there comes to it's a pointless conversation, but it comes to that point where you say, did LSU lose that game or did McNeese win that game? I honestly say McNeese won that game because I look at it like this: we lost in the same fashion that we've been beating other teams. Plate discipline, walks, getting the base hit. Now we've had power shows happen, but mostly it's been walks and base hits and the well-timed double. That's how many he's got us. And that's why I'm not too upset about the loss. It's like, okay, well, you got baseballed. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Did LSU lose that game or did McNeese win that game?
I think we lost it. I think LSU lost it, honestly. And the reason why is, like I said, you shouldn't expect to win a game when you give up 11 free passes. You still out-hit them. You out-hit them 8-7. Like, you out-hit them 8-7. In the inning where you gave up 3 runs in the 4th, they only had 2 singles. It's not like they were raking off of you. Like, that's not like what was happening. Maybe they tagged you a little bit in the 2nd inning. You know, they got that 2 RBI single, then the 2nd off of Cooper Williams. But it's like, yeah, I think you gave the game away. I really do. And I'm not worried about it, right? Like, I'm not worried. I'm not panicked about it. Like I said that on the show yesterday. I was like, I'm not worried about it one bit. I'm really not, especially when you lost to Northwestern State and you got run ruled. And you didn't get run ruled here. You lost by 1 run. Like, in innings 5 through 9, you outscored them 4-0, right? So you were still trying to fight your way back. And yes, was it great? Do you want to lose? You never want to lose a game like that. Like, you don't want to lose a game to a Louisiana in-state school, but it happens. It's baseball. Like, it is baseball. It is what it is. I'll repeat this. UCLA lost to San Diego State Tuesday. Arkansas State dominated Arkansas on Tuesday. Like, Georgia State beat Georgia Tech. Like, they had like 3 top 10 teams that lost midweek games this week outside of LSU. So it happens, you know?
Okay, I got another question for you. Who's a better shortstop? Milam or Rock?
Milam or Rock?
From UCLA. Chalowski, whatever his name is.
When you look at the offense, when you look at all of it, I mean, Rock is really good. I think Steven Milam's a phenomenal defensive shortstop. I think he's probably the best defensive shortstop in the country.
Yeah.
Defensively, yes. Offensively and defense combined, who's the best player? I'd probably say you got to take Chalowski right now. I'd probably say that to be objective because of what he can do
If
at
the
the
draft
plate
was
and
today,
stuff.
okay. If the draft was today, yeah. I think by the end of the year, Milam will have better offensive numbers.
Yeah.
But I like Milam because he's shown the ability to perform at shortstop. Because who does Rock play? San Diego State.
I mean, the Big Ten is not that. It's not that they.
You got guys like Justin LeBron in Alabama, who Milam's definitely better than. Like he has to face. He sees balls at 107 off the bat, straight in the 6 hole. He backhands them and gets them over. That's why he gets them up.
I appreciate all the people commenting in the comment section. I do appreciate you had AP in the comment section a little bit. By the way, I'll just say this at the beginning of the show. That is my fault. That is completely my fault, folks. I am sorry about that.
Don't even worry about it, buddy.
And I'm getting better. I am getting better. First live show we've done, and that is my fault.
Uncle Randy, what's up, buddy?
Yeah, great show, guys. Yeah, I mean it just happened. Like AP commenting, Uncle Ron and Uncle Randy. Yeah, we got my dad's got in the chat.
Oh, where's your dad? Where's your dad?
Yeah, Justin. He's in here. He's in here somewhere. He wasn't here. I got a few family members in here.
You're right.
I got a few people in here. Look, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So I'll ask you one more question, man. Paul. For this last segment.
Whatever you want to ask.
Let me see real quick.
Don't hold anything back on account of me. Let's do it.
For this last segment, Paul, I'd like to say you're in the halfway point between the opening day and SEC play. You play 2 weeks. You have 2 more weeks of non-conference action. Then you play Vandy on March 13th. This team is 8-1. They look great offensively. They look really good pitching staff. You know, there's been some shakiness there, but they've been good overall. Burning question for you, Paul. What does this team need to work on, or what does an individual? It could be individual or overall. It could be one player. It could be overall as a team. What does this team need to work on in the next 2 weeks before SEC play?
I see your dad's been watching some content because he brought up something very, very, very smart. As a team, it's not a lot as a team. They need to wake up. And I say that not saying that they're not coming to the ballpark ready, not saying they're not coming to the ballpark ready to play or they're high on their own supply. There's been a lot of late inning heroics, or AP likes to say, let's bring a team to deep waters. Let's get into the late innings, bring them into deep waters, and that's when you really see this team. I think I'd like to see them get on top of somebody quick for once. I'd like to see them get on top of a team quick and just kind of bury them, especially in non-con play prior to SEC play. But again, I want to preface all this by saying we're 9 games in. It's people don't people are so used to a football mindset where you want a more polished offense and defense game 1. Jay and them are still learning things because guys could be batting cage heroes. Guys could be bullpen heroes. And even though they're D1 guys, it's true. Now, I'm going to address what your dad asked because I went over this last night with AP and David. And I want to preface this by saying I'm not trying to be, Mr. Know-it-all here. It's just purely my opinion from what I've learned in the past from greater baseball minds than I. Watching the games this weekend and then watching the game Tuesday, I ended up texting David about it, and I asked him, do you see a hitch in Curiel's swing? What do I mean by that? It's something similar that I saw with Jared towards the end of SEC play last year going into Omaha, where anything on the inside third, middle in, he's raking. Where were all his base hits at this year? Either inside outing or driving, turning to right field, right? Anything middle out. And we brought up videos last night. I'm sure you watched it, where Curiel was trying to stay on the outside pitch a little too long, but then dumping a lot of his energy and getting handsy. That could be something fixed in a batting session with Jay. I'm sure they're looking at it, and I'm sure I can promise you, Jay has spent the last couple of nights not sleeping with his orange juice, staring at the moon, and probably film in front of him, looking at every aspect of this team. Curiel's going to figure it out. And if you watch my show at 6, I'll tell you this, Babin. People have given me hell for this. I don't think Curiel leaves. I think he's back next year.
I heard you say that. I heard you say that, Paul, and I'm very conflicted on that because he has all the freaking tools to get drafted in the first round this year. Like he does.
But if you listen to the Twitter fingers, if he doesn't hit double-digit bombs, he won't get drafted in the first round. Now, I don't believe that. I still think he gets first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
But looking at a guy, I mean, I always look at the baseball draft in this sense. Leverage, right? So in the NFL draft, all the slots are pre-slotted. The money's there. It doesn't change, right? It only goes up every year. But, you can move up in rounds, but coming back can't really hurt you. In baseball, it can. If you're a junior and you come back for your senior year, you can get drafted in the first round, but they're not going to give you first round money. That's just how the MLB draft works. He's a sophomore. He's a super sophomore. That means he loses no leverage.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't have the year that scouts or the public thinks he should, why not come back? It's been another year with Jay Johnson. I think am I putting it in marble? And no, but I think there's a chance.
Yeah. I'll give mine real quick. Mine is on the pitching staff, and I've been in the comments a little bit with timeouts and tangents, and I was in there last night, and I was in there a couple nights trying to be a little bit I get too want to get a word in too much in the comment section sometimes, but I think my top guy is that Cowan that needs work. I think that's my top guy that needs work. He's a veteran. Him and Case and Evans were your top two dudes out of the pen last year. He had that phenomenal start against Arkansas in Omaha. He has not looked that great lately. He has not looked that great to start the season. He's been leaving the ball up in the zone too much. And his command, dude, his command hasn't been as good as it we know it can be. Like we know what it can be with Zach Cowan.
I'm not disagreeing with you. When I'm looking, I'm thinking about. I'm not disagreeing with you. I promise. But with Zach, go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say another guy I wanted to throw out there that nobody has really been talking about, and maybe I shouldn't. Maybe not. People in the preseason talked a ton about Grant Fontenot. I heard a bunch about Grant Fontenot in the preseason personally, and about people stepping up and doing, about him taking the jump. We haven't necessarily seen that yet. Could we? Could he step up and have a breakout season? He's looked good in some spots, but I'd say my top two guys I want to step up is Zach Cowan, because we know what it can be based on last year. And then I heard a ton about Grant Fontenot in the preseason, and I'm looking to see if all of that proves out to be true in 2026.
I forgot to add, Jake Brown really needs to step it up. He really needs to get his act together at the plate. Jake Brown has been terrible to start the year. No, I'm joking, by the way. Speaking of what you heard preseason, you had some talking heads saying William Schmidt was your Friday guy. I went on that rant earlier. I'm not going to do it here. Cowan, I agree wholeheartedly. He needs to work on that slider. Without that slider, he's a change up, low spin rate, 93 mile per hour fastball. And when I played ball, yeah, that worked. Not today. 93 is 85 to guys. They're going to turn it around easy. If he can't locate the changeup like perfectly, he's going to get hit. And if he doesn't get that slider working, he's in a lot of trouble. Grant Fontenot has looked good in spots. You're right. There was a lot of talk about him. I think Devin Sheeran's kind of taken that role from Fontenot right now. I have a lot of faith in Fontenot coming back and really stepping up. And look, it's like I talked about with Dardar and York. Sometimes guys need better competition to kind of step up and kind of get their head screwed on right. Like some guys, it does. I mean, not to pick on him, but Milam has never really been great non-con. Turns on SEC play. I mean,
what do we think? What do we think that's about? Because Stephen Milam has been your best player, arguably, in the past 2 postseasons. Last year, he hit 211 in SEC play, like in regular season play. And I love Stephen Milam. Like, let me preface that. I love Stephen Milam, especially because of what he's done at shortstop. He is a phenomenal defensive shortstop. But I'm wondering, what is it that just in non-con and SEC play last year in the regular season, he's able to turn it on and flip the switch in the postseason. We've seen it. But, like, I just want to see that Stephen Milam that we get into postseason. Can we see that in the regular season too? Because that dude is a beast. He's a monster, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of me.
His freshman year, he kind of blew up on the scene, right? And he's playing second base. Now, I give a lot of leeway to last year, similar to Michael Braswell gave a lot of leeway because new position. You are thinking about those things. Now, turning it like you got to remember, they get scouting reports too. They get to look at. I mean, is there anything in baseball we do not have a stat for? We combine stats and make up new stats. They're going to look at every single thing. And they're going to have tried to, especially in SEC play, you have guys who can really locate multiple pitches to take him out of a lineup. I don't think he's a 2-hole hitter. I don't think he needs to. My personal opinion, Jay knows better than me, of course. I think he's a middle of the lineup guy. I think he's a guy that needs some little protection in front and behind him. In the 2-hole, you kind of lose that. You kind of need a guy who can stand on his own 2 feet in that 2-hole and not need as much protection. So I think Milam needs to move to the middle of the lineup a little more. We'll see. I mean, I don't think he hits 211 this year, but hopefully he turns up. He's been slowly getting there. You can see it every game. The gears slowly turning there, but
yeah,
it's.
I think as we kind of get close to wrapping this up here, I think again for me it's Cowan and maybe Fontenot. I know people talk about Curiel. Y'all talked about Curiel last night. You touched on it a little bit. There are other things that we could address as well. But obviously, you got 2 more weeks of non-conference play, and then you got the grind of a 30-game SEC schedule, which is a beast every single year. And I think the positive thing, you have a lot of positives. Your offense has been great. Your offense has been great, right? I would say the biggest positive is what you mentioned before, Paul, the fact that your rotation right now, Friday through Sunday starters, it doesn't look like you have questions about the Sunday starter. Now, you could. I'm not saying William Schmidt, we need to see more command. Like, we need to see him build upon that start against UCF.
Yes.
So I'm not saying that's a done deal. But, like, if that's the William Schmidt we get the majority of the year, I think your rotation is set. Like, I think your rotation is
I think it's
set
set now.
if we can get that William Schmidt. I'm saying we need to see him build on that start, right? Because he could – I'm not saying I want him to. He could come out Sunday and walk 5 and who knows, right? So we'll have to see. But I think there's a lot of positives here. But I want to give you the opportunity to kind of give any of final thoughts you want to share, and then also share where the people can find you, and then I'll close it out. Thank you for coming on the show, my friend.
I do. I really appreciate you having me on. It's been a blast. I've known you for a little while now, and one day I'm gonna hold your hand. Just letting you know that. But
Okay. Not a lot of people in here know that reference. I want to keep
that's
it
between
that
you
way.
and I. Between you and I. So, the one thing to kind of look forward to as well. You have Dartmouth and Northeastern. The Northeastern, games were supposed to be a lot more intriguing than they may be. But you still have Creighton. You still have ULL coming up, and there's a lot of good teams left in non-con before SEC play. Everybody just take a breath, relax, enjoy the games. Like I said, the average record for a College World Series champion LSU team is 54-16. Jacques did the math. I didn't. So relax. As far as for me, I want to say thank everybody for coming on my stream earlier. Thank you, everybody, for coming in here and showing some love for my buddy Babin. He deserves it. He works really hard. And I know he truly does love, like, me and you are kind of the same, right? I tell people I bleed red, white, and blue. My blood cells are purple and gold, and my proteins are baseballs. That's just what it is. So, but thank you. All the support we have in the community has been amazing. You can check me out. My X page, Paul Jarrett 16, where I do the pick to click, giving away
which I'm a part of,
which you're a part of. I'm giving away a William Schmidt baseball right now. So, come in, give me your pick to click on the post just prior to first pitch, and you have until the first batter enters a batter's box for LSU. If they're playing at home, you have a whole half inning. Come get your pick to click in, see if you can win that William Schmidt baseball. Babin, by the way, is one of 2 Nostradamuses we have currently at the moment. Him and Tiger Joker.
I picked Zach York to hit the bomb on Tuesday. Now I told you, Paul. I don't want to win another pick to click if it means the Tigers have to lose. I don't want to win another one if it means the Tigers have to lose.
Should I not give away that ball?
The one pick to click I've won so far, the Tigers have lost. What is up with that, Paul? Are you trying to sabotage?
But it's not the pick to click because David Billiot won the first one, and that was the Trent Carraway Grand Slam game. So we're all good. As far as me, you can get on my X, Paul Jarrett 16, for the pick to click and where I do most of my work. To just launch the Walk It Off pod. It's Walk It Off at Walk It Off.
I watched it today. It was awesome.
And on YouTube. Thank you. Give me time to get better at this. I'm not as polished as Babin, but we're gonna have some fun. And it's a blast. And go Tigers! I love, and it's, how can you not be romantic about baseball?
Absolutely,
baseball is,
brother.
And I can tell everybody every day, every chance I get, God loves you. All He wants you to do is love Him back.
Absolutely, amen.
And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Look, folks, again, if this is your first time tuning into the Babin on the Bayou show, first, I want to say thank you. And I've been doing this for a month and a half now. This is technically episode number 34 of the Babin on the Bayou show. First ever live, first ever guest.
We're gonna have many more.
Jarrett, first ever. Look, I haven't said this, folks. I am looking to do more lives, possibly. Do a lot more lives. I want to get on X. We plan to get on X again. I do apologize. I am learning, folks. I am a rookie at this right now. I'm going to get better with the whole technical difficulties thing. So if that's what you saw at the beginning, I'm sorry. But heated, stressful moment. But anyway, no, I do have a show that comes out at 5 p.m. every weekday, Monday through Friday. Think about it. I'm going to do a lot more lives. I would love potentially to bring in a lot more guests. There are a bunch of other guys, including Paul, David Billiot, AP with Timeouts and Tangents. I know
Got Austin
Zach
Taylor in the
Nunez
chat
and
wanting to get
yeah,
with you from
Austin
Fourth and
Taylor.
Go.
Like, I want to do a lot more of these. I want to grow, and I appreciate you, Paul, for reaching out a few weeks ago and joining this community and joining a lot of good guys who just love, eat, sleep, and breathe LSU baseball and LSU sports. Again, I have a show every weekday, comes out at 5 p.m. I'm thinking about doing more lives. I'll update you on that. Would love to have you back on the show at some point, Paul. Would love to have other people on the show as well. But again, I thank you, brother. Go follow Paul on X, subscribe to his YouTube channel. He's an awesome dude. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it too. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers, baby. Have a good one, folks.